tie on the weed guard. I'll pinch it flat, just like that, with a pair of pliers. And then I'll start my thread at the back end of the hook. And I'll wrap the thread all the way down around the bend. And I'll take the flat spot of the monofilament and I'll tie it in right here at the back, right on top. And then I'll wrap it all the way down around the bend, right to where I ended the thread. Use some bright yellow here for the legs, and I take four strands of bright yellow rubber legs. Okay. I've got approximately 6 inches of rubber leg material, and I want about a ½ inch to 5/8 inch for the foot left sticking out, but it's very particular how you tie the knot to get them going both the same direction. So I usually start on this side and I'll fold it over and tie an overhand knot in it.
Just an overhand knot?
Just an overhand knot, yeah. And you can see that it sticks out one direction. On this side here, you have to do it just the opposite. You have to turn it the opposite direction so that both feet will stick out in the same direction.
Left over right, right over left.
And then right here, I'll tie them in. Now to get them even, what I do is I'll pull them up and I'll pull the knot, pull it so that both knots are exactly even, straight up on top. If one is smaller than the other, I'll just pull it over until they line up. And I'll go forwards. And I want to go up to within about ½ inch of the eye. Now, the instruct foam cylinder in there free floating, but I like to tie mine in. And I'll tie mine in pretty close to the hook eye so that it stays in the right spot, crossing it just like I did the legs. And that's just to hold it. That's just to hold it in place.
Where do you get this?
I run my thread all the way to the back, behind the legs, and this is where I start shaping the body. What I did was I'll mark this piece here, and just to show you what I was doing. I'll take this piece and I'll measure it from just behind the back of the legs to right there where the cylinder foam is, right there where the hook eye is. You can see I marked it right there. That's about where I'm going to make the hole for the hook eye to go through. And if you take a look, I'll draw on this.
That's just a closed cell phone.
Yes, it's just closed cell foam.
Michael's 2 millimeter. I had it Michael's.
If you look, I've got a mark sitting there to where it's right about where the back legs are, and the reason for that is I want the back legs to be on a wide spot on the foam. This thing I'll mark on there is, I'll mark the center piece going this way, and what that's for is so that you could trim from that line right down to that line there, and leave just a little bit on each side. And if you cut to the line, you get a fairly even frog shape on the back. And what I'm going to do right now is just punch a hole for the hook eye. Just use my scissor, punch it through a little bit. Take the foam and push it over the hook eye. There it goes. Then I'll take the bottom portion of it and I'll tie it in right there. And I'll leave that right where it's at. This part here is just some cyanoacrylate, just some super glue. And I like the Zap-A-Gap stuff because it comes in a thick formula, and this is fairly thick.
It's also waterproof.
Yeah. What I'll do with this is I'll just squeeze out a drop towards the end. Can you see the drop?
Yep.
I'll squeeze out a drop and I'll just start smearing it all over everything, including the legs. This super glue, though, will, I think it will curl the rubber legs if you get too much on there. But basically, you just want enough to give it a coating on there. You don't want it too wet. A specialized piece of equipment is a little clothespin.
You carved that yourself?
Yeah, carved it myself. Pull the ice forward and set the material down there.
Don't glue your fingers to
Yep,
it.
don't glue your fingers to it. And I'll leave that way. And what you do is you take this and make sure that the foam lines up.
Good luck finding those.
Easy.
Yeah.
Ace Hardware, yeah.
Yeah, they still got them.
Yep, they still got them. And you just hold it there until it glues itself together.
Thought it was
Super glue is accelerated.
And what I'll do here is I'll clip
not
it.
just fly fishing stuff.
I'll clip it to size,
Try
and
not
then
to clip the leg.
and try not to clip the legs, but I'll just run this along the edge, and I'll clip it to the size of the body.
George, you get Zap-A-Gap anywhere,
No, you know, where you bought out of business?
No,
Yeah, no,
they
they
moved over
moved.
by Washington.
right? Down by the bowling alley.
And so I just
North of Washington Avenue on
trim it to
You
shape,
know where Korea Brothers Hardware used to be?
Yeah, well, that's-
It's a man or
Well, that's
something.
and then I'll
in Fremont.
I'll pull it over,
The half ounce loses it.
and I'll tie the back down.
Any shop that has train stuff, just about.
You know,
Legs, I'll take the legs now, and I'll fold them backwards like this, and I'll tie it in. Actually, I'll take the near one first. Pull it forwards. I'll put a wrap around that, and take the far one, put a wrap around that one so they're out at angles like that, and then just pull it tight. Put a couple of wraps, make it tight, and then whip finish it. And you got to do this one by hand.
Oh, a hand whip finish?
Yeah,
I've got
by hand
a
whip
great big old
finish.
Monterelli
Or a
with
couple of
I
hand.
have a big old Mattarelli, but this is a lot easier.
You know, if you want to cheat, all you do is put some Zap-A-Gap on it and just cut the thread off. You don't have to whip finish anything.
Except about one fish later, it's
No,
quite
no,
another.
no.
That knot works great, does it? Right, oh, yeah. That's really good.
You cut the line
Do it
and
your
then
way,
make it a
Mitch, it
square
works better.
knot. Can you do that?
Yep.
Right over,
Pull it
left,
tight.
left over.
And then all you have to do is clip the thread. What I do is you gotta put the weed guard and tie it up at the eye. So you've got to take your thread and start it again right in front.
Throw that guy out of here.
That's the first time that's ever gone off. He's all excited.
Got a call.
Oh,
So you start your thread in front, And then what I like to do is I like
He
to
called himself.
run the material up through the eye and pull it up kind of tight against the hook down there. And what that does is it tells me where to start pinching. And what I want to do is I want to pinch this area flat. And the reason I like to pinch this area flat is because it's easier to tie in than when it's full round. I'll just take a couple of wraps around that, adjust it to the size I want.
How much distance you want there?
I want a distance from the hook point to the end of the weed guard about half the gap distance. Put a couple of good wraps around that, and then take the flat part, bend it over, and put a couple of wraps around that to hold it in place. And then you just clip it off. Whip finisher, or if you only have a half-hitch tool will work. Clip the thread off. And at this point, I'll take the eyes, the eyeballs, or the cylinder that's in there, and I'll come up with the scissor and I'll clip them flat. I use stuff called marine goop, or just some goop. Now it's only because of stuff I had at home, but so I take a dab.
This sticks.
I'll take
Oh, the hub?
I'll take a dab of the
far
goop,
side.
and this stuff skins over and dries pretty
Easy to get
fast.
it.
So
Feathercraft
You need
or
to
someone, I'm making an order.
It's kind of down the, just a few
sit
different
there
doors down
and
from
put
Michael's.
a pretty
Or
generous
our
dab of
brothers.
this material on there, and I have a piece of cardboard for everybody to have.
Well, you don't want to get the table stuck.
No, it skins over and dries so fast that the eye won't stick if you let it dry too much. Oops. You put on the little Google eyes, little doll eyes.
Which you can get at Michael's.
Yep.
Your local fly shop, Michael.
Can you
Grease
get four
flies.
cylinders there too?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think you
Is that that rainiest white?
Or is there? If you want quick